Welcome back to Sail Up. Today we're talking about innovations at the most innovative boat show in the world. So we're talking about everything from through hulls and anti-fouls and things we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, right the way through to some of the things which are going to be changing sailing in the future as we see it. So let's go and see what we can find in these two halls, massive halls may I say, and see what we can find for you guys. So the show that we're at the moment is MERIS Range. It's in Amsterdam, right? And it's quite literally the biggest business-to-business show in the entire world. And it's so you can't buy anything here, but it's where we've got the likes of the Dame Awards, which is a really prestigious award, you know, about innovation in the industry. So basically everyone's pitching their new products. Some of you can't even buy yet, but we know they're coming out to the market. First thing we're going to take a look at is the Antifowl world. So the Antifowl world is pretty hot at the moment because it's changing a lot. So first place we're going to look at is Seajet, okay? These guys do Antifowl, and they've been working on a biocide free range. The reason they've been doing that is because basically we're not allowed to put biocides underwater in many places, and these guys have been testing this for years. I'm actually surprised how long they have been doing it, but they've been ahead of the game for a long time, so they've got a whole biocide free range. Now usually that kind of stuff's not very good, right? So I'm pretty intrigued, and I'm intrigued by this setup here. This is a silicon-based Antifowl. You basically put it on as that's bronze. This is a tie coat, and then the silicone goes over the top. And the way this works is it's basically too slippy for anything to stick to. So there's actually performance enhancements to gain from that as well as sort of fuel reduction and all the rest as well. So I think that's really cool. And these guys have got stories of it lasting for up to 10 years. You literally just take your boat out and give it a wipe, put it back in again, or you could do it under the water. I think it's really cool. I think it's really nice to see people actually seriously trying to innovate the Antifowl world, because it's something we all have to deal with. And there's very little point in killing organisms under the water at the same time. But yeah, unreal. It's like sticky like this, but then under the water. It's like really, really slippy. So the results seem brilliant from what we're being told. Is it? I don't know. We want to test it and see what we find out. But it's certainly something, I think it's a really hot topic at the moment, and I'm really interested in that. Other things that we need to look at, which are really, really affecting everyday sailors, I suppose, are through hulls and things like that. So I'm going to take a wander around here to a company that I've used for a long, long time, and I can really recommend them. I'm sure there's other people doing it as well, but all I can do is recommend what I know. So let's go and have a look. So of course, the company that we're talking about is TruDesign. These guys have been around a long time, from New Zealand. They're doing what they do. And it's a composite, but it's not a composite. It's a fibre reinforced. It's basically an amazing through hull. I've used these things for years. They work really, really well. They're fire retardant. You can put them in the engine room. The beauty of them is that literally nothing sticks to it. So again, like that whole silicon technology from Seajet, the critters don't stick inside the ball valves, which is really good. The zinc doesn't wear out. It's a kind of fit and forget system. It just works. So I'll be honest with you, as a shipwright, I haven't fitted a bronze through hull now for over 5 years. Just use these. Never had one fail. So that's what I think we likely use on our boat as well. I think pretty cool. Yeah. Anyway, moving on to something which might need that is a motor, right? So we're going to shoot over and look at some motors, one in particular actually, and something else they've been working on alongside of this company. It's an epic setup they've got for power generation on board, which is something we all need. And this is something I think many people can use, even if they've never thought they could use something like this in the past. Right, that way. Okay, so the company that I want to introduce you to here is EPTechnologies, a Danish company, and they're well known for some pretty awesome stuff. They've got this. We're not really here to talk about that. It's absolutely stunning. It's actually their own leg and everything. This is their outboard, 130 kilowatts of monstrosity. This thing is insane. But again, probably not really what you're going to put in the back of a sailing boat, but this is. Come and check this out. So these guys have been working on this. It's a generator. Okay, this thing is insane. I think it's about 14 kilowatts. Let me have a look. So she's 14 kilowatts and 96 volt. So I think the cool thing about this is, right, it's a massive generator. And it's in a sort of footprint which is tiny. Normally you'd expect to see this as like a 4 kilowatt. It's a Kubota engine, which is like the most reliable engine going on, probably in the marine market. These guys are actually affiliated directly with Kubota. It's got a good heat exchanger on there as well, and it's got their motor system, which everything's built in-house, that's everything they do. So I think for the first time ever, obviously it's coming to silent-ish sort of surround as well, which is exactly what we want. But the reality of it is it's a standalone unit that you can bolt into many boats. So where we didn't normally have space for the likes of that kind of power, you know, because of its general size, now we're able to put things on your larger 40-foot vessels and the likes, which is actually capable of running aircon until the cows come home, literally. Anyway, on a smaller note, I'm going to go and find some sort of tidbits and some cool little things, little innovations and gadgets, which I personally think make life a little bit more interesting, you know, on the water, and make it a bit more fun, because there's loads of that going on here. It's not all massive stuff. Let's go and see what we can find in the sort of gadget world. Good. So just on the way to look at the next things, I've come across these things, and all I can say is what you've just been looking at, this is an 8.5 kilowatt generator. So that puts it into reality what this 14.5 that EPTechnologies are providing us. It's tiny. And of course, don't worry about the voltage, you just step that down, which those guys provide the step downs as well, so you can take it to any voltage you want. Happy days. So of course you guys know about these people. We showed you the life jackets and the likes in the past. And I just want to show you something that's been innovated a little bit on the way to some deck hardware that we're looking at. This is the new MERIS jacket. Now, I'm super fond of this stuff. Like, we love the life jackets and likes. We'll go into all that later. I mean, this is the new MERIS. I actually use the MERIS kit myself, and they've just sort of re-innovated this. Still got this cool pocket here where you can actually use a touchscreen phone through. Super, super hardcore stuff. It's now got this cool piece over here, which anyone doing a Scottish bit of winter sailing like we do really appreciates. And the cut's a little bit longer as well. And just that sort of bulky, usual reflective stuff's gone. So it's feeling nice and lightweight for that kind of coastal sailor who may go pretty hardcore as well. So if you don't know the brand, they're actually from sort of northern Canada. They're absolutely mad what they do. Most of their stuff comes from the military and the like. So it's been like tried and tested in the worst conditions in the world. That's why I like it. You know, we sail in some pretty harsh conditions. Scotland's pretty cold, it's pretty rough, and we get wet filming on the bow and that kind of stuff. So do check them out. They're a real solid alternative to the usual brands we see over here in Europe. Yeah, anyway, aside from all that, let's shoot and look at some deck hardware. So I'm just passing by here. This is Antal. These guys do deck hardware, like Italian company. They're absolutely fantastic what they pull out. And the cool thing with these guys, they innovate overnight, it seems. This is the, what do they call it? Speedylight, that's the thing. It's a winch handle, but look at this. It goes red, it's got white, it's completely waterproof, USB charged, and it's just a winch handle, isn't it? It's completely retrofittable to their old handles as well. I think this is really cool. Our idea is that you put it in here, and you can use this as like a, now I haven't been trained on this, but you can use this as a reading light when you're sitting in your combing, and you can pull this over your map or your book or whatever it is you're reading and push it away. I think it's really cool. Torches are really something we all need on boats, red especially. Really, really cool system. The usual Antal winch handle, really easy to use, bearings inside of it. This is super easy to hold. I think that's really important. But the thing that makes it good for me is the mechanism. It's a standard star mechanism with the square. So the little pins that you often see as the alternatives, they often, in my opinion, suffer with galvanic corrosion and get stuck in jam all the time. This, I like that simplicity. And I'd really like to actually know, regarding winch handles, what you guys think about them. Because it's something we all use, and when you have one which is not working too well, it's super frustrating and fiddly. So yeah, it's a simple little thing. It'd be cool to know what you guys think about winch handles and what you're doing. Anyway, more deck hardware, that's where we're off to, isn't it? These guys won this DAME award, so that's the super prestigious innovation award. They're a well-known brand in racing. Not many cruisers know much about them. So let's go and show you who they are. Oh my God, look at the size of this thing. I'm glad I don't have to clean that prop for sure. These are the boys we come to see. These are a French rigging company. They're hardware company, Karver. All right, they did the refocus we talked about in the past. These are guys who won this Dame Award. So let's check it out right here. So this is the new thing. Right? This is it here. This is obviously their prototype idea, and this is their new clutches. These things hold a ridiculous amount of force. And the beauty of them are they're working on a collet system, so it's not like a cam. The cams kind of roll over and jam like this, right? And that can really crush a rope, and you also usually get wear on the cam here and it slips. These systems run on a collet, so it's like grabbing it from both sides. And the clamping pressure is huge, but you can release this under full strain as well. So they've got a working one over here I'll show you as well. All right, so this is the system here, okay? So we've got this going on here. So this button acts as either a release button or we can jam it in place. So you can run this as a clutch like that, so it's working, it pulls through easily and back. And you release, you just pull this and that's it, it releases it. Absolutely brilliant. We can also release it and press the button. And we can do this as well with a cam. So basically you can have it totally free flowing. Not like, it doesn't even have the spring of the cam pushing on it. And you can use that obviously to lock. You can remotely operate it completely by using this grub screw here. You can change the action of the release handle. I think it's a really neat way of being able to remotely use clutches on the mast and run a piece of string down to your cockpit or wherever you need to be and have full control of the clutch, which isn't necessarily cluttering up your entire cockpit. Another cool thing with it is that you can completely service this to get any of the rope debris or any muck which is lying around there, and you literally just undo the one bolt there, remove that, and it comes apart so easily. The interior is all stainless steel, so it's not going to fall apart, and it's just brilliant. Like, it's really, really well put together, easy to service, easy to look after, and you don't need to unbolt it from the deck to do that. Pretty cool. I like that. I actually really like what these guys do. You may have seen this model here, which is this is what James Herrera had on his Amoka in the last video we did on the Amoka series. And those guys love these things for holding ridiculously high tensions. It looks after the line and all the rest of it. I think it's a really neat, innovative product, and I can totally see why this won an award. Anyway, we're going to move on now. We're going to shift on to some more sort of little things that we can maybe benefit from without even realizing we needed them. So let's do just that. Of course, we're on the way to something small, but I can't help but look at something massive. Of course, Ultra here, this is the new side anchor system. Of course, it's not really for smaller sailboats, bigger massive yachts and the likes maybe. So what they've done there with that side anchor is basically innovate everything the way that Ultra always do. They play with tip weights, they play with lead, they play with buoyancy in the shaft, and they've been doing that. This is a project that's been actually nearly going on 10 years, it turned out. That really surprised me, but they've got that, they've got a painted in hinge mechanism and all that going on it. So if you do happen to have a boat that's looking at, side anchors and the likes, it's big enough for that. That does go from, I think it was 21 kilos up to like an enormous 450 kilo anchor. So yeah, if you happen to have a super yacht, might be a nice little bit of bling for the front of it. But they do assume as well that the test results have been exceptional from a lot of super yacht captains. So that is pretty sweet. Don't think we'll ever get one on our boat though. Don't think I ever won a boat that big, do I? I don't know. No, not for me. We're actually in an entire hall which is dedicated to innovations and new startups. Now these guys we're going to look at here have a lot of really cool products going on. It's a company called Ropeye. Mateo, hey. How you doing, man?
Hey, fine.
All right, mate. Let me mic you up. We'll tell some people what it is that you do. Right. Perfect. Ropeye, what's it all about, mate? Come on.
Ropeye, it's a young company. We make a carbon fiber pad-eye. This is our bestseller. It's actually a plate of carbon and a mix between DNEMA. It's thinking to fix things directly on the boat to be glued, and these small things have a charge of a safe and working load about 200 kilos.
200 kilos.
Yeah.
Because I've got to say to you, right, most cruising sailors, especially, right, coming from a racing world, you'd be like, yeah, that's great, I love that. Coming from a cruising world, someone's going to say, no way, mate.
No, you think? Actually, no, Dai. You can fix a lot of things with this, also in the greasing. Actually, we have a lot of collaboration also with, for example, Instagrammer all around the world.
Yeah.
For fixing, for example, bags or a bed inside. But you can use really forever, whatever you want.
So you can
Actually,
literally, you can lash winch handles with it, something like that.
See.
Anything you want, spare parts, sort of flares and things like
yeah,
that. All the
yeah.
things
The
we...
fantasy is the only limit, actually.
The fantasies that you listen to, they say. What a lad.
See.
All right, mate. So do you reckon you could do something big enough to even like secure onto a deck to tie a dinghy down or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, but for example, this is using a lot on the new flying dinghy. For example, the moth, the wasp, yeah, the switch, and then we have also the big game range that it's something like
Go on, let's show us something.
like this one.
Holy smokes!
We're talking about 20 ton of braking load.
So this is
of working load.
this is a bolt through though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
It's the true passing deck Padai.
So we recently did a video, if you guys saw, I don't know, but it was on Dynamo.
Yeah.
And how like it's kind of a new revolution in sailing, which has gone back from the past almost for like traditional lashings.
Yeah.
With new materials coming out, it's actually a lot better for your boat. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
I think I'll nick this. Cheers, man.
Bye.
Cheers,
Thank
man.
you.
Thank you,
Cheers.
mate. All right, so to finish up with Lumar, and of course this is an enormous windlass. Let's go and find something which is a little bit more usable for me. So right beside here is this thing. It's called a sea sucker. Now, you may have seen similar things like this. We use them for the cameras and stuff to stick them to windows. This is kind of molded together. It's a pump-on thing as a cleat, and you can use that on boats sort of this size for sure. It's cool they've got this boat, by the way. It's really nice. They've also got them using around the corner here for rod holders. We've got a fish gutting station. You can have it to put cups in. Let me take you around here. So we've got handles here, so you can have grab handles wherever you want on the boat without having to drill holes through, and then also cup holders as well. So I know we've got something else here. I didn't even know this one existed. This is effectively it's like a phone holder. I think it's quite cool. Like if you've got perspex windows or something, you always like, oh, I want to put a plotter there or something, or a tablet or something, but you can't. That's really cool because you can just put it on your perspex and go mad. Pretty cool. I really like it. Really simple, straightforward, simple thing we can all maybe use here or there. So that's pretty much everything for this episode. I hope you found something interesting, something innovative, and something you might want to use. It'd be cool to hear your thoughts on what you think's been good, and it'd be cool to hear anything you want us to go and take a look at shows, or in general start questioning, quizzing with people. If you've got any questions, just leave them in the comments below. If you want to know anything a bit more in depth, pop over and see us on Patreon, ask us some stuff there. We can get a little bit more in depth and show you what's going on behind the scenes with Sail Hub as well. Aside from that, do subscribe. That makes a massive difference to keeping us at these shows and bringing this content to you. And we'll see you in the next episode.